Hi everyone, I hope all of you guys are doing well. So today the first thing I wanted to tell all of you guys is if you are preparing for UPSC in 2023, you're going to give it in the next 2 months in May, or if you're preparing for 2024, I want to wish all of you a very best of luck. I'm going to tell you, don't stop your preparation right now. Don't, because of demotivation, because of anxiety, because of any kind of lack of confidence, don't stop your preparation, because you are just towards the last 2 months, and these last 2 months are very crucial. And even if you are preparing for next year 2024, you have a long way to go. You have almost 1 year in front of you, but you have to utilize your 1 year properly. You have to make the best efforts possible so that you can qualify for the prelims and appear for the mains. Now, I want to tell everyone that everyone has the potential to do it, but it's all about the mindset, and it is all about how smartly you study. So today I am going to cover a few things about UPSC prelims in this first video, first part of the mini series video, in which I will cover a few things that are very important for UPSC prelims, that if you pay attention to these things, your score can increase by 10-20 marks easily. But you have to pay a lot of attention, watch the video till the end, and make sure that every advice I am giving you, you also go back and practice that advice. Just don't listen to me and just forget it. Go ahead and practice that advice that I am going to give you. So today in this first part, I am going to tell you about previous year questions, how to analyze, how to study the previous questions, what are the most important previous year questions, which years you should be first going into, and what you should be looking for, what kind of analysis, what kind of study you should be doing from these previous year questions, so that you can get the maximum in the 2023 May attempt that you are going to give, or even in the next year attempt, because the practice starts from today. So the first thing that you need to understand about previous year questions is that a lot of times students just go ahead and read the previous year questions, they find the solution to previous year questions, but they don't go ahead and actually understand a few things about these previous year questions. The first thing about the previous year questions, which is very important, is what topics are this question being asked from. Okay, I have a few questions in front of me that I prepared from the 2022 paper, and I have taken the most important part of the segment from which the prelims questions are coming, the subject, that is economics. I have also taken few questions from polity. All right. So what are the important economics questions that came last time, and how you can study them, and what you should be using these previous year questions to study. So the question number 2, which is a very important question that was asked last year, I will tell you how to analyze and what kind of things you should pick up from this previous year questions. And this question was, with reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements. An increase in NEER, nominal effective exchange rate, indicates appreciation of the rupee. So this is the first statement. An increase in the REER, real effective exchange rate, indicates improvement in the trade competitiveness. The third option is, an increasing trend in domestic inflation relative to inflation in other countries is likely to cause an increasing divergence in NEER and REER. Now see, what is more important in this question is to realize that first of all, what particular part of the syllabus this question is coming from. So this question is coming from the inflation part of the syllabus. This is given in the Nitin Singhania economy book. This is also given in the economy book by Ramesh Singh. This is a very general topic that every student, NER, NEER or REER, that every student of UPSC, every aspirant has to study. So this is provided everywhere, whichever text you use. Even if you look at Murnal lectures, he will have explained these particular terms to you. So this is expected to be known. Now what is important is how that you know the definition, but it is also important that you know the implications or the impact of NEER or REER. UPSC is not simply asking you what is the definition of NEER or REER. UPSC is also asking what are the implications, how an increase or decrease in NEER or REER affects the economy, if it affects the rupee, it affects the overall trade balances, etc., right? So these things are asked. Now, so that's why whenever you study previous year questions, let's say 2022, this question in front of you comes, so go back and study from the text this particular topic properly and understand it. Also understand other related topics like inflation is a very important topic. How does buying and selling of bond by RBI, debt instruments by RBI impact the inflation, etc. So all these things that are given in those 4-5 chapters of macroeconomics is very, very important. Now you might ask me, sir, I am still not able to understand these topics even after reading from these chapters. So I will give you one very simple advice. Go ahead and look at the macroeconomics lectures by Khan Academy. Now I'm talking about Khan Academy from the US, which is an absolutely amazing free source. You can go to their website, you can go to their YouTube channel, and you can just for free access all their macroeconomics or any other basic, fundamental, conceptual foundations of various subjects you can easily access there. So for economics, I would go there, study these particular fundamentals properly, alright, and after that, I will go ahead and actually attempt these questions, and you will be not surprised to know that you will score very well after you do that. Alright, so that's what I used to do if I didn't understand a particular topic. Now the second question from economics that has come here in 2022 is about inflation. With reference to the Indian economy, consider the following statements. If inflation is too high, RBI is likely to buy government securities. If rupee is rapidly depreciating, RBI is likely to sell dollars in the market. If interest rates in the US or EU were to fall, that is likely to induce RBI to buy dollars. Now, this is a very, very simple question if you have studied the topic of inflation properly, if you have studied the topic of how RBI controls the flow of money or the central banks control the flow of money. This is given in any major books, alright. But let's say you are having difficulty right now answering this question and you are appearing for prelims, you should go ahead and go back and study these topics properly. See, don't focus on just answering the questions, but also focus on how to get the fundamentals behind those questions correct. Because any kind of questions, this same topic, UPSC will just tweak it a little bit and similar question they will ask. So you should know the fundamentals behind. So now in this question seems very lengthy, but it's very simple to answer, because if you get the statement 1, if you find, because the first statement, if inflation is too high, RBI is likely to buy government securities. See, when the inflation is too high, the RBI doesn't buy securities, because if what happens, why does RBI buy securities? RBI buys securities so that it can pump money into the economy and economy can recover or economy's growth rate can increase, because more money in the market means the economy can grow faster. So here, if the inflation is high, already high, RBI will not pump the money in the market or the securities, it will not buy government securities. Why? Because the pumping of money by buying government securities will actually lead to further increase in inflation. So it will more likely sell government securities and pull the money away from the market. So 1 is wrong. So if you eliminate, you know 1 is wrong right away, just reading the first statement, you know 1 is wrong, then you should go to the options. Generally what happens is, students, what they do is, they will read all the options and then decide. First read the option, and if you think it's incorrect or correct, just go to the options directly and see, okay, I know 1 is incorrect, but in the statements here 1 and 2, so if it is incorrect, then 1 and 2 is not right. C, 1 and 3 is also not right. D, 1 and 2 and 3 is also not right. So you can eliminate all 3 and you don't have to even go to the second and the third statement. So just by reading one particular statement from the entire question, you can eliminate and you can get the entire question right. So you don't have to waste time. Within 30 seconds, you can get the question right instead of reading it for the next 1 or 2 minutes. So that is the opportunity that also UPSC gives you. That is very, very important for you all to realize that this is the opportunity that you want to make use of. Alright. So next, similarly, now UPSC has also asked questions from current affairs. I cannot go into every question. I am going to do that after a few days. So after a few days, what I am going to do is, I am going to come out with some previous year questions completely analyzed of the last 2 years, and they will be given in a very small booklet, and I will make that booklet available to you guys, so you guys can understand and find out from that previous year questions analysis how to read these questions. Alright. So for that, now I am going to study some of the current affairs. I have the screen in front of me. So here it is given, rapid financing instrument and rapid credit facility are related to the provisions of lending by which of the following bank? Rapid financing instrument and rapid credit facility. When you are reading about institutions in UPSC syllabus, you will read about Asian Development Bank, you will read about World Bank, you will read about UNEP, you will read about International Monetary Fund, IMF, etc. So this kind of questions you can easily solve through directly by current affairs. Now for current affairs, I always say when these kind of questions come, you know that UPSC can ask terms that are associated with international organizations. So you should try to study all the terms related to international organizations. So when you have the magazines in front of you, whether it's a Vision magazine or GK Today magazine, go ahead and read the important terms related to international organizations. So it can be terms like rapid financing instrument, it can be any other terms that are for IMF or that are for World Bank or that are for UNEP, UNICEF, etc., because those terms are most likely to come. So it is very easy to just go through these terms really quickly and read. Similarly, UPSC asked a question about G20 common framework, that what is the G20 common framework. Now again, this is a question directly from the current affairs. Now G20 has become very important. All these meetings are happening all over India. Last year India was also announced as a place where this was going to happen, right? So that's why this question has come. Now they have not asked you direct question from G20, they have asked you a very indirect question. They can ask you direct question also, for that everyone is prepared. This question will set you apart because this is a little bit more difficult question. Alright, so I would suggest to you that you study these kind of questions. Look at the question, understand कहाँ से आ रहा है, किस type का question पूछ रहा है. Go back and study those topics from the notes that you already have of Vision magazine or GK Today magazine or the static portions that are there. Okay. Now the next question is from the polity section. In the polity section, I would say Lakshmikant is the best book, but what you have to do is to score marks. If you want to score 100%, 90, 95% of the polity questions correct, then what you have to do is you have to think a little differently. You have to take the last 2-3 years papers, previous year questions, and see kahan se questions are, from which portions of Lakshmikant the questions are coming. Like last year there was a question on, consider the following statements. A bill amending the constitution requires a prior recommendation of the President of India. Now this question is about the amendment, the constitutional amendment that the parliament can make to the constitution, and what is the procedure or what are the various important things related to that. So for that, go ahead and read the constitutional amendment chapter properly, because it can obviously repeat in a different way, because right now these are important topics from which UPSC is asking questions. So I would read this question, I would try to solve it, and I will go back to that question, particular amendment chapter of Lakshmikant, and I will read it properly. I have also provided my notes, which are very straightforward, easy, and you can quickly revise. So from those notes also you can revise constitutional amendments. Similarly, the next question is about the Constitution of India, how it classifies the ministries, if it does, actually it doesn't, and the number of ministries in the union government. Now this again is from a chapter in Lakshmikant, so I would advise कि जो भी questions from Lakshmikant have come, go ahead and just do them quickly from that particular chapter, so that you are prepared for any different kind of question that can again repeat from these chapters. So last 2-3 years. So that's why I am going to provide you this PYQs solved for the last 2-3 years very soon. They have again asked questions about writs, mandamus, etc. Again, quo warranto, these are the writs that are, there is a chapter dedicated to this, which you can easily read from Lakshmikant. So you should revise this chapter and go into this properly, all these questions. Alright, so this is what I wanted to talk to you about today, that the way you should handle the previous year questions and how you should study the previous year questions. Subject wise, previous year questions, pick them up and write down from which sections of the particular chapter or particular static portion or current affairs or topics these questions are coming from. Make a list of those topics, 20-30 topics, and properly revise them, especially for subjects like economy, polity and environment, and maybe geography thoda bahut. Don't do this for history. It will become very difficult. Just revise the previous year questions, that's it, but don't go into this research mode for history, etc. See, you still have 2 months left. In 2 months, you can easily master economy, polity and environment if you have already studied them once. And these 3 subjects can definitely sail you through UPSC. So I would advise all of you to focus hard on these subjects, revise again and again these subjects over the next 2-3 months, and also go ahead and do the previous year questions from topic wise like I have told you today. Alright, so I hope you really get an understanding of how to handle these questions, and if you have any doubts regarding that, you can always reach out to me in the comments. I will be more than happy to answer. This is the first part. The second part will come after day after tomorrow, when I will be telling you about the second part of how to go ahead about these previous questions, and I will also provide you the link to the notes that you can download for previous year questions, or the booklet that you can download for the previous year questions. Alright, thanks, take care, have a good day, bye bye.